The beginnings of Airlake Industrial Park started back in the mid-1960s with an idea from a businessman named Carlton Hitchcock. His company, Hitchcock Industries, operated a non-ferrous foundry, which manufactured items from metals other than iron. He wanted to expand the business, so Carlton and his staff came up with the idea of developing an industrial park. Former employee of Hitchcock Industries, Maynard Johnson, describes why they chose Lakeville for their new industrial park.
35 was going to be built just about that time, and the land was comparatively flat, and there was a good population there for employees.
Not only was the new interstate a draw, but they also liked the idea of a railroad being able to service the park. And then they had an idea to make it unique.
Carlton Hitchcock was a pilot himself in a private aircraft. Metropolitan Airports Commission needed some additional airports for some of the flights that were coming in for training and so on. So we built ours not for them, but to have the first industrial park with an airport.
In 1966, the company purchased approximately 1,500 acres from 21 different landowners and created Airlake Industrial Park. The name came from a combination of air for the proposed airport and lake for nearby Lake Marion. Maynard would be in charge of this new venture, and one of the first things to be built would be an office and the airstrip. This new airport would be used by people with private aircraft doing business in the park, and commercial airlines could use the airstrip for training purposes. There was great excitement in the area at this time, not only for the new industrial park, but also for the merger of the village and township of Lakeville. To celebrate all the advancement occurring in the new city, local business leaders, including Carlton Hitchcock, decided to put on a celebration calling it the Panorama of Progress. One of the highlights from the first year was an air show featuring the Navy's Blue Angels. Over the years, Maynard developed the park. He created the roads, sewer, and even built the water tower that still stands today to serve the new companies to the park, such as Menasha, Rosemount Office Systems, Todd Chevrolet, and many others.
We were in the business for construction and land development. A lot of contact with land planners and construction people with sewer, water, roads, and then I had my civil engineer, and we had a couple of draftsmen.
One of those draftsmen was a young man named Jack Matasowski that started working for Hitchcock in the mid-70s.
So the job was varied back then, everything from pumping fuel on a Monday when the fuel guy wasn't there to opening the hangars for jets and planes that would come in addition to drawing buildings.
In 1981, the airport was sold to the Metropolitan Airports Commission. The park continued to develop until 1986, when it was decided to sell the approximate 500 acres of remaining land.
We had the opportunity through Maynard and Hitchcock to acquire the design, build, and the development side, and we continued to do that for the new investors. They procured a buyer. It was a group from Texas that came up and bought the land, but that didn't work out well. They defaulted on their mortgage and their real estate payments, and it went into the Resolution Trust Corporation, a division of the federal government at the time that was charged with liquidating assets that had been in default or lost. And fortunately for all of us, the Regan family purchased the very limited deed out of the Resolution Trust Corporation and took the risk and proceeded to start selling property.
In 1994, Airlake Development, Inc. was created, and they have been marketing the remaining parcels since then. Today, as Airlake has filled in, new parks are being developed in the area. First Park Lakeville, Creekside Business Campus, and Interstate South Logistics Parks are allowing for more businesses to come to Lakeville, including well-known companies such as FedEx and Uponor.
And I think the great thing about Airlake that I really appreciate is the fact that it's such a stable impact in our local economy. We have a lot of diverse companies that do a lot of different things and employ a lot of different types of labor markets. I think a lot of it had to do with Maynard being willing to finance the project, lease it to them, and when they got comfortable and established, then he'd sell it to them on a predetermined price.
Carlton Hitchcock had the vision of an area with access to rail, air, and a good roadway system where people could build and grow their business. Out of this grew one of the largest industrial parks in the state. Today, there are almost 150 businesses located in the Airlake Industrial Park. With less than 250 acres undeveloped from the original land that Maynard started selling over 50 years ago.